For more on power and energy industries and investing more in green forms, Mark Riedy, partner at Mintz Levin, joins us now live in the studio. Mark, thank you very much for joining us. You know, the topic of green energy is no longer new. Everyone is basically on board. I would assume there's no one against green energy. So what next now for the industry? Is it going to be biofuels? What's going to be the next trend?
Well, I think biofuels it's been around for a long time. It actually goes back to when Henry Ford invented the Model T. He was using 100% ethanol in those cars. And it's changed over the years, and we've gone into different variations of a first generation, which was food-based, to now we're going to second generation. I think biofuels and I think solar will be big winners. Wind also will be a big winner.
Early on in the game, a lot of the big oil companies seem to be a bit hesitant to adopt biofuel, but that's certainly changed over the years as well. Can you talk about a little bit your experience in working with both sides and where we are today and where that's likely to go tomorrow?
Well, originally the oil industry came in because they were incented through tax incentives. And then the tax incentives have begun to go away, and there's what's called a renewable fuel standard. And that standard has obligated parties, which are importers, blenders, and refiners. They have to buy a certain percentage of the biofuels. So that helps create the market.
In terms of if you look around globally, right, certainly the United States is putting a lot of investment, but as well as many, many countries around the world. Are there any specific projects that you see around the world that perhaps either investors or experts in the United States should take a closer look at that you would view as very successful projects?
There's not, well, first of all, I know, for instance, China has been trying to get away from food-based feedstocks for biofuels, as has the United States. So the big push now is to go to what are called second generation. So you're using grasses and you're using waste. So if you go into Asia, where there's a lot of municipal solid waste, it's a perfect feedstock for the advanced biofuels. And you're reducing a health hazard, and you're creating energy and making a country self-reliant.
On the show, we talk quite a bit about the economy, and as you know, the economy is struggling to recover still, and that leads us to the next question, which is financing for a lot of these companies and entrepreneurs who have great ideas that could potentially benefit society in a very great way. What are you seeing in terms of how financing looks? Is it seem to be more profitable for investors today than it did yesterday?
Well, that's two questions. So the first one on the financing end is that's your challenge. And a lot of the lenders, because of the economy we've been in and have gone through, a number of them are very conservative and won't lend into a lot of these new second generation projects that have technology risk. So that's been the challenge, is how do you replace a lender? So what we've been doing is we created a programs within the loan guarantee programs in the United States government where we're using project bonds. And we're credit enhancing the bonds with loan guarantees instead of using commercial debt. And we can place the covered portion of the bonds at about 150 to 200 basis points over treasuries and do it for the length of the loan guarantee, which is about 20 years. So that's the first issue. On the second,
well, I'm afraid we have to finish this conversation another time. Mark, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.